You want to say you're tired from what? We're tired. Black people say we're tired from what? You're tired of what? Tired of what? DEI, you're tired of what?
Now, I just want to say this. I want to put this out there, okay? I am not a Nick Fuentes fan whatsoever, but I do want to bring up this one video. I'm going to play it in a second here, that I actually agree with Nick. I have to give him a little credit when it comes to what he said in this video.
Black people say we're tired from what? You're tired of what? Tired of what? DEI, you're tired of what? Having the standards lowered for you everywhere? Tired of what? People walking around on eggshells not to offend you? Tired of what exactly? What are you tired of? What are you so tired of all the time? We're tired. We white people are tired. We're tired of hearing about it. It's 2025. This is America. Get a job. Dress yourself in them. Put some shoes on. Stop with the slides, sweatpants. Put some shoes on. Put some pants on. Get a job. Speak English properly. Be respectful. Be considerate. Salute the flag. And shut up. Gosh, I've had enough of it. But no one wants to say this. Everyone's thinking it, but no one wants to say it because everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid because they know if you say it in real life, you're going to get shot.
Everything that he said in this video, I 50% agree with. I could not agree with him anymore. I think everybody in America knows that right now the black community has a huge problem, and that's crime. I mean, you can't even debate that. It's not even a debate. It is an actual statistical fact that the black community right now makes up 12 to 13% of the population, and they make over 50% of the crime. We're going to go about that later. In this time right now in America, we have, in 2025, we still have black people talking about reparations.
Point will the blacks stop begging and blaming?
Begging?
And blaming.
Who's begging?
The blacks.
I don't know who's begging.
What
are they begging for?
Reparations.
Arguing that we deserve reparations and affirmative action.
When will they stop begging?
When you give it to us.
And what is it that you want?
I want reparations. I want my money.
You want money?
Yes.
Your money.
I'm a foundational black American. I want money for what my ancestors went through.
And how much do you want?
You could give me, I'll speak for myself. I think give me between $300,000 to $1 million.
You personally want $300,000 to $1 million
yes.
of your reparation money.
Right.
And what did you do to earn that money?
I was born, and I come from the lineage of black American slaves.
To me, this is insane. And the reason that we have black people talking about reparations and they're the poorest community right now, you have all these immigrants coming here from different countries, and they build wealth. You know, the Middle Eastern people, the Asian people, they'll start convenience stores or they'll do whatever, and they'll build generation wealth that get passed down, and they will teach these kids on how to do that. These guys are literally coming here from other countries, don't have a dime in their pocket, and yet in 5 to 10 years, they'll become millionaires. Now, every single people has had bad things happen to them in the past. We've known this. You know, white people have had bad things to them. Obviously, the Holocaust. You know, Asian people have had bad things happen to them. It's a part of history. It's not good history, but it's a part of history. But yet, the black people are the only community right now that are still wrapped in the past. And my example of that is reparations and still talking about racist activity where they can't make it because of the white man. This is insane. We've had a black president. We've had a female minority, whatever Kamala Harris was. I don't know if she was black, Middle Eastern, whatever. The first lady has been black. We have a Supreme Court justice who is currently black. We have 2 Supreme Court justices right now, Clarence Thomas and Ketanji P. Jackson, are both on the Supreme Court and both black. You have Sonia Sotomayor, which is a Hispanic on the Supreme Court right now. We have black police chiefs. I mean, even in 3 of the largest cities in America, LA, New York, and Chicago are controlled by black people. Police chiefs are black. You know, you have United States senators who are black. You have congressmen, congresswomen who are black. It is still crazy to me that we are still talking about racism and why black people can't move ahead. And I think in this clip what Nick talked about is that and I've been saying this for a while, the white people in this country have just been told to shut up. Don't say anything. You know, they want to be critical about a certain, that's what makes this country great. You can be critical about anything and not be jailed for it, right? But for so long, white people have been told to shut up. Don't say that. White people can talk about black people, but not talk about their skin color and just say they're critical about something that they do and still be considered racist. They're not even bringing in skin color. They're just saying, hey, look, we notice in the black community that this is what's going on. Well, oh my gosh, you're racist. So for so long, right, I would say probably like for like 3 to 5 years right now, white people have just been quiet because they don't want to be called racist. This is exactly what Nick is talking about. And I fundamentally agree that that is exactly the truth. For so long, we have seen black people, tell white people that you're racist. If you say this, you're racist. But I'll tell you this one thing. I'll tell you one stat that's not racist, okay? I'll tell you one statistical stat that is not racist, and that is that 12 to 13% of the black population make up 50% of the crime. And in this, let's go over this. We have murder, we have manslaughter, we have aggravated assault. These are the crimes that black people are committing. Now, I'm not going to say it's just black people. We know that it's white people too and Hispanic. We know that. We cannot deny that. But what I'm saying is such a small percentage of people is making over half of the crime in the U.S. population. It is insane. That is crazy. That is a crazy statistic. And yet, if you call them out, you're considered racist. This is something that you're not going to hear from CNN. This is something that you're not going to hear from MSNBC or ABC or NBC, because you know why? The Democrats want to pander. The Democrats need the black vote. So they can't say, hey, black people, you guys have a ton of crime in your community. You need to clean it up, because guess what? They're not going to get the vote, because they know that if they're going to call out black people, they're going to be so sensitive. Whenever you call out black people for doing something wrong, they're immediately going to call you racist. It doesn't matter if it's right, if you're wrong, it does not matter. If you call something out, if you say something that they don't like, you will be considered racist. That's just how it is for some people.
Police violence and all this stuff, don't nobody care about that.
Nobody cares.
Don't nobody real care about that. We care about our reparations. And we have to put white people on notice.
And there it is.
That we want our reparations.
Now, if there was a black slave in America, I would say, okay, yeah, he probably deserves some reparations for the things that he's been through. But why, just because your ancestor went through something horrible, why do you get it? That doesn't even make any sense. Right now in America, there is no black person alive today in America who was a slave. There is no white person alive today in America that was a slave owner. So why are we talking about reparations? You know what reparations was? It was affirmative action, which definitely you needed in the early 70s. You needed that to make it equality. But you know what now? The Democrats have pandered so much that they created institutions like DEI, which is essentially reverse racism against qualified white people and qualified Asian people.
Of course, we're going to be angry at anybody who owns us.
Well, why don't y'all complain about the black slave owners?
Because they were not the ones who owned the vast majority of black people.
So it has to be vast majority.
Don't get me wrong. If you're owning slaves, that's a problem no matter who you are. But
so why
a
don't
black
y'all
person
complain
might have
about
had,
that then?
2 slaves.
Why don't y'all complain about that?
Who's the y'all?
Even in parts of Africa right now, blacks are still enslaved by the Arabs. I don't hear y'all complain about that.
Who's the y'all? I think anywhere black people are enslaved, black people are complaining about it.
Why don't we hear about that then?
I don't control the news.
Oh.
So that's
but you don't say anything about it either.
I mean, look at what this girl said. She's literally talking about slaves and wanting reparations. But when Jesse says, well, what about the black slave owners that sold black people? What about the Arabs that, still have slaves in Africa? Black people, for some reason, they only contribute slavery to white people. White people bad. But yet in Africa, you had black people that sold other black people and they never say anything. When was the last time you ever heard a black person say, I want reparations from the country of Africa? No, you don't hear it. You don't hear that. Even though black people sold slaves, it is proven black people did sell slaves. Yes, that is a fact. All of it contributes to the white people for whatever reason. And I think it's just kind of going back to Nick's point is, guys, you are a part of this society. If you want people to treat you with respect, pull up your pants, stop sagging your pants with your butt out, look presentable, and hold up these nation's laws. Stop stealing. I mean, I can't even go to CVS, Walgreens, Target. I can't go to any place right now without having to have a store clerk open up the cabinet for deodorant. Deodorant. This is what there's. It's crazy. Look at these clips. But see, if you call them out and if you say, hey, look, black person, this is what's going on in your community, instead of us coming together and saying, look, yeah, you know what? This is a problem. Let's address this. Let's make it a deterrent to steal. Let's make it a deterrent to do crime in America. Because right now in California, they had some crazy policy right now that they didn't even care. They didn't even arrest you unless it was worth over $1,000, some crazy liberal policy that they had. So you pretty much incentivizing people to steal in your state, in your cities, if it's under $1,000, which is nuts. Just because you're a billionaire, just like you're a CEO of Walmart or Target or Walgreens or CVS, it doesn't matter. Just because you're a billionaire or have hundreds of millions of dollars doesn't make it right for people to steal just because you have insurance. It's all going to the point of we all need to make sure that we're acting like actual people.
And a good Samaritan trying to stop two alleged thieves at a TJ Maxx in Miraloma. Dramatic video captured by a customer showing the takedown at the location on Limonite Avenue.
So even though Nick Fuentes and some of these other people, say these things that I might not necessarily agree with this one, with this point, with this single point, I absolutely agree because he is bringing up certain things that everybody sees. Everybody sees right now. People watch the news. People aren't stupid. They see what's going on in these cities. Look, someone showed me this video, and I'm not kidding. I thought it was Mexico City. I thought it was Iraq. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, there's no way that's America. The crime that's going on in Black America is insane right now. Look at this clip.
Ring camera footage is now part of a police investigation into a gunfight early this morning in Grays Ferry. Meanwhile, many of the victims of that shooting were brought here to Penn Presbyterian Hospital, where they are still being treated.
That is in the streets of America in Philadelphia. That is insane. People see this stuff on the streets. So let me just say this. If you are a white person, and you're a great white person, you got a family, you got some kids, and this happens in your area, and this is all over the news, you want to move. You're going to have it in your mind right now that, you know what? I don't know if I want to live in this community. I don't know if I want to live next to these kind of people anymore because of crime. I want to keep my family safe. I want to keep my wife. I want to keep my kids safe. But if this is what's going on in their community, why would I want to put myself in that position? It's my responsibility as a man or as a husband to take care of my wife, to take care of my kids and make sure they're safe. But what if I just moved into that area? How embarrassing is that? Now I got to move. And now guess what? I have some type of stereotype that, hey, look, I was around this area and I thought it was a great neighborhood. And all of a sudden a shootout breaks out. This is a wild shootout. This isn't just like a one-shot thing and one-off and all of a sudden it's like a quick little drive-by. This is a crazy amount of bullets that are being flung through the air. So my point of this whole thing is that even though certain people might say things that you don't like, that you might take offensive, some of it, if you look deep down, is absolutely true. So we need to look at ourselves in the Black community and say, what is going on that we are committing so much crime and we have such little population in this country? What can we do to address this right now so that people can feel comfortable? And it's not necessarily racism, okay? It's not necessarily racism towards you, but these people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian, it doesn't matter. These people might have seen 10 videos of Black people stealing or Black people committing crimes, and they might not have any issues with Black people. But when they see videos like this, it causes them to be like, oh man, I don't know. It's like the crime in the Black community, in Black America, is almost making people have some type of racism. It's almost making people have some type of discriminatory behavior because they don't want to be around that area. They don't want to be around that violence. They want to walk their dog in the middle of the night. You think you're walking your dog in the streets of Birmingham, Alabama, or Memphis, or Chicago late at night? There's people probably out there that's like, F that. My dog can pee on the floor. I'm not taking my dog out at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nope. No chance in hell. Nope. Pee on the floor right there. Like that's literally probably what's going on in people's minds because they are so unsafe. They feel so scared to walk their dog at night. It's got to stop. The crime in the Black America has to stop. Now, crime all over the place has to stop. We understand that. But I'm just talking about right now, the Black community has to get it together, and we have to make sure that the people that are committing the crime, we hold them accountable. Because right now and I'm talking about shoplifting. I'm not even talking about murder. I'm talking about just the basic crime. We don't just think like, oh, he stole a candy bar or he stole this. Oh, it's okay. It's only $100. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Like AOC says. AOC thinks it's okay to steal because you're poor. And that these billionaires and millionaires have insurance, so it's okay to steal. She's literally condoning it. She's literally making it seem like it's okay to steal because you're poor. And this is the problem that we have in America. You have these politicians that make it seem like it's okay, and it's not okay. So, again, I want to say I am not a Nick Fuentes fan. I disagree with a lot of what he says, especially when it comes to anti-Semitism and all the stuff that he has to say about the Jewish people. But this one particular topic, I am 100% in agreement because white people have been afraid to say what they feel for the longest time. And it's not necessarily racism. It's just saying, hey, look, we notice in the Black community, there is a problem with crime. Stop it. I want to take my kids to the beach. I don't want to see Black women fighting. You know, I want to go to Chipotle. I don't want to see some Black dude's butt because his pants are on his knees. We want to live in a society where we all can get along and we all can share, you know, ethnicities and backgrounds and stuff like that. But I don't want to, if I want to start a conversation with somebody, it's definitely not going to be the guy with his pants on his butt. So we need to get it together and we need to figure out what we can do that can stop the crime right away. Because right now, crime is dividing America. And the crime in the Black community is making white people not want to associate themselves with us. And it's affecting the normal Black people that aren't committing crimes. So right now, let's get it together and focus on what we can do to make this country great again, because Donald Trump can't do it on his own. We need to figure out ways that the Black community can stop doing crime and we all can get along. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here.